What's happening, Wisdom Warriors? Back at it for another video. Yeah, yeah. How's everybody doing? Um, I know I talked about a topic that I was going to continue on with a part two, but I think this is going to be a mixture of both or many different topics in this one. But I just want to say that I dropped a short earlier today that had was in relation to love and the heart opening, and I wanted to go a little more in detail about that and well, how I started this morning in a meditation that was related to opening the heart and leading your everyday life with your heart opened, fully open. And I with that being said, I know it is not an easy thing to do, especially if you don't have the awareness that you're not doing it or that you are doing it. And yet, I urge you to wake up in the morning and say, how do I want to navigate the planet? How do I want to show up in the world? And I've been guided to do multiple heart opening and heart healing meditations and different classes I've taken and different things that energy healing and through Reiki that I do on myself and through sessions I've done with others and just many other things through Kundalini yoga and breath work, and all of that opens the heart. And I feel like not enough of us are showing up in the world with our hearts open, because I know how difficult that can be after having been hurt and having had broken hearts through romantic relationships, or individuals cheating on one another, or just friendships that didn't work out, that you put all your trust in, and then the person just walked away and broke your heart. And that could be family members, that could be relatives, that could be well, that's the same as relatives, romantic partners, friendships, co-workers, whatever it is that you put the trust in, and then they broke your heart. It's not easy to heal from that, on top of ancestral and past life stuff that we potentially have brought in up to this point. It's not an easy thing to do, and it essentially can be very difficult. And then to actually pick yourself back up and go back into the dating scene, or if somebody, you were married for 20, 30 years and that person cheated on you, and then you ended up in a divorce, and then you have to go and you have to heal all of that. And then a lot of people decide and say, I'm done. I'm not ever going into another relationship or getting married or any of these things because of the pain and the hurt they went through. When in actuality, I feel like not being vulnerable, not opening yourself up, not opening your heart, I think is more painful. Keeping it closed off and just showing up in the world with all this pain and trauma, not to negate what you've been through, because I've been through it too, and I can't compare myself to your journey or anybody else's journey and where they're at, or what they're on. But I'm only speaking from my own experience and journey, as I've talked about on multiple videos. And to be quite honest, I'm at the point where I feel like my heart is opened and I am vulnerable, and I am opening myself up and trusting in the process, trusting God, trusting Source, trusting my angels and spirit guides, trusting just myself and my higher self, that it has my best interest at heart, and that these situations that I have gone through have gifted me a lot of different miracles and things that I can look back at, and I'm here being given the opportunity to share my journey and my story with you all, to maybe in turn help you in a way that you listen to this video and it helps heal you. It helps you realize that, hey, maybe it's not a bad thing. Maybe that if I open my heart, the person that I've been wanting for so long to step in will step in, because I opened my heart and I trusted and became vulnerable. And now I'm allowing for that relationship to take form, or I'm allowing for those like-minded individuals to come in. Because see, here's the thing, man. When we don't show up authentically, and we show up with a closed heart, and we don't become vulnerable, and we don't trust, we then allow for non-authentic relationships to happen, and then we wonder why these relationships are not in alignment, and why I don't align with these people, and why they don't get me and I don't get them, because you're showing up with a closed heart. You're not showing up openly, ready to, I'm not saying not to take precautions. I'm not saying not to, evaluate a situation or a relationship, or not, or I'm not saying not to, that you should rush into it. I'm saying that lead with an open heart and be vulnerable, but also use your life experiences, and but not in a way that it's negative, or that you're coming from an old pattern or a traumatic experience, but lead with trust that if you see red flags or you see signs, then yeah, take precaution. But you're not gonna experience true love in all aspects, and I don't mean romantically only. I mean every kind of relationship. You're not gonna experience true, authentic relationships out of love and with an open heart and being vulnerable if you come into the relationship with a closed heart and not trusting. And again, I'm not telling you to go in and like, oh, give your bank account and, trust them with everything that you have. I'm not saying that. You get to know somebody, and you take it as slow as you need to take it. And I'm not saying only romantic. I'm saying every type of relationship. You take it slow, and you say, I'm going to wake up in the morning today, and I'm going to lead with love, and I'm going to lead with an open heart, and I'm going to be vulnerable and transparent and authentic. And I feel like those are going to be the best relationships that thrive, and that you can experience magnificence and synchronicity, and you will get the best of that other person. Because if you watched my previous videos about the universe mirroring, if that's the way you show up, you're going to get people that come into your life, or that you meet, that are authentic and transparent, and they come vulnerably and with an open heart, right? But if you come in closed off and with a closed heart and not transparent and authentic, you're going to get the same thing back. And then you're going to wonder, why is this happening? And it's going to happen because you're going forward with that way. You're stepping out into the world, or so to speak, in that way, closed off and not authentic, and not showing your true authenticity and being transparent and vulnerable. And then you wonder why, oh, well, I'm coming into the world, I'm stepping out into the world in the morning, not trusting, not believing that anybody is going to be vulnerable and authentic with you. And you're going to come with these patterns that you've had, that, oh, these people, everyone I meet is a liar, I can't trust them, all these kind of things, and you're projecting that out, so the universe is just going to mirror that back. And then that's the type of people or relationships you're going to attract, and you're going to step into. And then you're going to wonder why this is happening. Why am I not getting the relationships I want? Because you're not putting out what you want. So you're not in alignment with what you actually want, because it's a mismatch. It's a mismatch internally from what you're actually projecting out. So the universe is just going to mirror that back to you. And it's funny because I'm kind of going back to the mirroring aspect. And I did say I was going to go a little bit deeper in that. I never know what is really going to come through. And I tell you the guys this all the time. And when I had no intention of sitting down here right now and dropping a video, I was going to do some other things. I just got back, but I felt called to. And it's coming through and it's flowing. And so I'm not going to stop. I'm going to bring this message to somebody that needs it right now. And so you have to be cognizant and aware of the match that you have, what you want and what you're actually projecting out. Because then in turn, you're going to be like, I don't understand. This is not what I'm asking for or want, but it's what you need because it's what you're projecting out. So then those people are going to come in to then point you back home to look inside and say, wait a minute, am I waking up in the morning with an fully open heart? Am I waking up in the morning ready to be vulnerable and transparent and authentic and trust that every person I meet and every place I go, the universe has a reason for me to be there, for me to come back home and realize that this is not, I'm not a match. I'm not matching what I actually want from what I'm projecting out. So if I do that, I'm then not going to get what I actually want. I'm going to get what I need, but and what I need is actually pointing me inward to say, wait a minute, Darren, how are you showing up? Are you waking up in the morning saying, I am going to wake up and step into the world with an open heart and be authentic and be vulnerable and show all of me? But again, with caution, because we still have to be mindful, regardless. You can't just step out and say, I'm leading with love and blah, 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 and I'm going to have an open heart and I'm going to be vulnerable. And then just be like, well, yeah, I went on to online dating and I gave this person my social security and my bank account and I just talked to them for 2 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Like there is lessons and things too that we have to pay attention to, and that we're being kind of, so to speak, tested in a way. So I'm not saying to do that. I'm not saying to go back into a relationship that was abusive, or a friendship that emotionally abused you or physically or what have you. I'm not telling you to do any of that stuff. I'm just telling you to be mindful of how you're showing up. And are you showing up with an open heart? And are you showing up that I'm going to go on this date and be vulnerable and authentic and transparent, and I'm going to have a mindset that I trust that this is happening for my highest good and that it is not happening to me, it's happening for me and by me, and so when we do that and we lead, authentically and honestly and with love, we then receive these relationships that are so beautiful and the ones we actually want, the ones that we actually are asking for, you know? But if you, like I said, if you are wanting something and then you're not actually matching that internally that you're projecting out, like, oh, I want a loving relationship. Oh, I want somebody that's vulnerable and trustworthy. Well, then you have to match that internally and project that out. You have to show up in that way to receive that back because the universe just mirrors us, like I spoke in a previous video. So the more you can pay attention to that and be mindful of it, and meditation is going to really help you with that. Breath work is really going to help you with that. You know, um, paying attention to your breath all the time, like I speak of all the time on these videos. You know, like the word on my shirt. Breathe and pay attention to you breathing in every situation you are. If you're standing in a line, at the post office, or you're waiting in line to get your food, pay attention to your breath. It's the it's the it's the fastest way to the present moment. It's the fastest way to the now. It's the fastest way we can be present in our body and do things mindfully and do things consciously instead of unconsciously. And the more we can show up that way, the more we're going to react better to volatile and chaotic situations. We're going to be at more peace internally and externally. We're going to have just more peace in our whole life, in our world. Where that's sovereignty, you know. Not that you're not going to have pain, and emotions aren't going to move through you, and energy's not going to move through you. You know, you feel everything, but you're going to handle it in a different way. You're going to be more present, and it's going to move through you faster, and it's going to be more enjoyable and pleasurable, versus like running and numbing and avoiding, and then the shit just builds up and then explodes like a volcano, you know, and that's no good for any of us. But the more we can be present in the now, and pay attention to these things like the breath, like I tell you, go out in nature, or while you're in your car jamming out to music, or a motivational speaker, or self-help improvement speaker, whatever, that a book, or you're listening to audiobook, pay attention to your breath. Pay attention to it going in and out. Just follow your breath. Like, it you have to get in the habit of doing it, because it's not going to come naturally unless you continue to do it on a regular basis. And the more distractions you have in your external world, the more that's going to prevent you from doing it. And you have to really be mindful of it, because you will get lost in the movement, the fast moving life, the chicken with your head cut off, the survival mode. You know, all of that is going to take precedence over you following your breath, you know, because you're so used to not doing it. So you have to train yourself in your mind, and and you know, I don't do it all the time, and sometimes I forget, and I try to do it as much as possible, but you know what, life life, you know, grabs a hold of us, you know, and we in the heat of the moment, we we lose ourselves sometimes, you know. And so the more and more you could do it in the times uh when you are by yourself in nature, or by yourself in general, the more you can get yourself used to it. And then when you're in those moments that are chaotic, and you're standing in the fire, you'll handle it much better. You'll react differently. You'll react in a better way. You'll react from an open heart and a loving place, you know. And so I urge you to do that, and pay attention to the breath as much as you can, and you know, and be mindful, like when you're eating, and be mindful in general, because the more you can be mindful, the more you will pay attention to these moments in your life, and the more you'll be present, and conscious, and your life will go smoother. And you'll, not to say that you're not going to have, we don't have difficult moments. We're human, we're spiritual beings living a human experience. We all don't have it all together, man. Okay, everybody on this planet. And if somebody claims to say they do, don't believe it. Okay, we all are trying to figure things out. We're trying to understand our energies. Things are shifting, timelines are shifting. We're doing timeline jumps where there's all kinds of shit happening. The world is chaotic right now, and I'm not going to sugarcoat that and bullshit you, because you see it yourself, you know. And so the more you can ground yourself in nature, hug a tree, you know, put your feet in the sand or in the ground barefoot. These are all ways you can ground yourself, and you can just show up in a better way, you know, show up with show up in a way that, in ease and grace, you know, in these moments, in these tough, challenging times, you know. And so, you know, the more I can come on here, and I can, you know, reiterate the fact that the breath is so important, and so valuable to pay attention to, that we lose sight of the fact that we're even breathing sometimes. You know, we're rushing out the door, we're shoving food down our throat, we're in a heated conversation with a neighbor, or a friend or a romantic partner, and you quickly forget about the breath. You quickly forget that you're even breathing. And we all have done it. Um, we all know, uh, you know, keep in mind, as I've said it many times, we came here, and forgot. And we have amnesia, every single one of us. Some of us have remembered more than others, but majority of us have forgotten. Majority of us don't remember. And we're coming back to ourselves. We're being reminded of all these things. And so the best thing I can tell you is the breath. Remember the breath. Always remember the breath. It's so powerful and important, and it will save you in so many situations in reacting in a way that you don't want to react. In a better way, in a more kind and loving space, and just wake up in the morning, and whether you're doing meditation or you're doing yoga, just ask yourself today: do I want to show up with an open heart? Do I want to be vulnerable? Do I want to be more loving and kind? Are these things that I want to show up in the world in that way? And the more you can have those check-ins, like I talked about, with asking your body, how it's doing, telling it you love it, doing kind things for it, doing loving things for it. The more you can do that, the better you're going to live this life as a human, and you're going to navigate it better, and you're going to learn more about yourself, and you're going to understand yourself better. So I hope this video helps somebody. I was going to actually talk about, you know, um, the choice. Do we have choice? And did we create our path prior to coming here? And, this is what came through, and this is a message that somebody needed to hear. So if you haven't already, please subscribe. Please share to somebody that may need this right now, because there's a reason that I was called to bring these messages today. And, somebody out there needed to hear it. And if you know somebody that needed it, please share it to them. Please share it to a friend, a family member, a partner, whoever you may think may need this message, because there's a reason I was called to bring this message to somebody, or many of you. So please subscribe, please like, please comment, please share, please do it all. Hit the notification bell so you get reminders when there's new videos coming out. And please share it out, man, so we can grow this community together. Comment your story so you can help somebody else. And you can pay it forward, because we can all learn from the community, and from somebody commenting and then somebody replying with their help and their comments. 6 months from now, somebody reads it and needed to hear that message, and you just paid it forward. So please do that, and please subscribe, and please share, and please comment. Do it all. Like the video so we can get the algorithm going, and for YouTube to put us out there even more, so we grow this community, and we can all learn from each other and grow together and apart, and all of it together as one, because we all are one, and we all are connected. I love you. You are me, and I am you. I love you all so much. I hope you got something out of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please take care. I love you all from my heart to yours. Sending you all so much love and light. Take care. We got this, Wisdom Warriors. Let's go.